lines from what happened in Oshun in terms of the discrepancies that we notice in the court process. So what I think INEC failed to do that is bringing us into this conversation is that INEC should have communicated clearly that the way this INEC is set up, it might take 24 hours, it might take 48 hours, it might take 72 hours for all the results to be collated, giving citizens, political parties, civil society enough ample time to then do whatever, assessment, whatever comparison they want to do between what's on the IRA and what is on the result sheet. That way, people will have already been informed, and people will not, all the confusion we are having will have avoided because people will not expect that all the results will be on the IRA 24 hours after the election. So what I think is that since there was no clear communication, people have a right to make the point that the data on the IRA is not complete, and whatever the results that are being declared should have waited until those data have been completely uploaded, as we have been informed. So that's what would be my advice. I think people have a right to make that point. Whether the commission would then agree or not is another conversation entirely. But if I was an agent to one of the political parties, I would be making that point to say that I don't think it is appropriate to announce the result of any state when you have not fully uploaded them on the highway.
Brings us to a problem, Mr. Adegoke, and I'm happy you say, okay, look, this is what they ought to have done because they ought to have anticipated this ahead of the election. Since this was the first time, they should have given themselves some wiggle room because this was the first time they were applying this technology nationally, and therefore they should have anticipated that it's possible that there could have been hiccups, and therefore the 24, 48, 72 hours. In which case, all those who are now raising issues may not have raised the issues because they would have said, we had been told before that this could be, there could be a time lag. But we are going to go through this process again in about 11 or 12 days' time. And now we're going to be talking about, 28 or so states where governors are to be elected, and then maybe about 34 or 35 states where state assemblies are to be elected. So, I'm wondering if we don't tackle this now, whatever the resolution that comes from this one for the presidential election, is that going to apply at the level of the next election in 12 days' time?
Well, I think that's largely a question for INEC to answer.
I'm putting it to you. I'm putting it to you. My apologies. I'm putting it to you because I'm thinking, perhaps you could offer some way out for them between now and then. Since we're offering them a way out, we're trying to say, look, you make this mistake, now let's try to see if we can get you out of it. Because we've got to do this anyway.
Yeah, sure. I agree with you. We can definitely tell INEC, to say that you need to communicate with the people, give enough time frame, with respect to the governorship election, take away the lessons from the presidential election so that it is not repeated at the governorship level. Give people at least like 1 week. By 1 week, every result should have been uploaded, and say that 1 week after the election, all results should have been uploaded. And this is important, not just because of the election that will be declared, also because of the litigation that will follow suit. People will be looking for evidence, and people will go to the IRF to go and get evidence. So it's very important, and the timing of the evidence is important, because that was critical in determining the case in Osun State. So it's very important that INEC communicates clearly so that it even guides the judiciary by the time they are adjudicating over these cases. They are able to know exactly what they are working with. So if they are collecting evidence is collected on which date? Is it a day after the election? Is it a week after the election? So INEC needs to be clear in communicating that, and I think they have an opportunity to do that in the upcoming election. I will agree with you. This is the first time they are doing this at national level. So we can allow this to slide. But I'm not sure the parties will agree with me though. But they have an opportunity with the governorship election coming up to say that, you know what, we are using the high ref, and from our experience, we think that you guys will need at least 1 week to have all the results uploaded on the high ref.
What's the process?
These adjustments from between one process and the other, within the timeline.
This is an innovation say, okay, maybe there are hiccups. Then what have they tried to recover in time? I think those are some of the other things we can look at. We probably shouldn't then immediately go to say it's tainted. Then that also begins to be a bit of gaslighting and political posturing, which is in politics that's accepted. But those of us who are analyzing also need to read between the lines and tell the politicians, in your posturing, be careful you do not tip the civil populace over the line.
Speaks to this posturing of the law. Earlier we read section 60 sub 5 that the presiding officer shall transfer the results in a manner as prescribed by the commission. But sub 6 says, a presiding officer who willfully contravenes any provision of this section commits an offense and is liable on conviction to a fine not more than 500,000 naira or imprisonment for a term of at least 6 months. The question here is, a presiding officer who willfully contravenes 5, subsection 5, in a manner prescribed by the commission. The manner prescribed by the commission is to transmit electronically, take a snapshot, and send. There are some presentations that have been made in Abuja now that some of them have not been uploaded on the IRL. Is that a contravention?
I think if I understand correctly, there are two processes. One is to send it to Inec, then the other is to upload. I assume those are two processes.
Well, yes, but one is at the point you send, then you now take the hard copy to physically to.
Yes. So that's very good because that's trying to make sure that I check. Now, but the operative word there is willfully. So you are really trying to pin down people who have criminal intent, not somebody who made a mistake or maybe somebody who is
oversight or
who is lax or something like, who's negligent. So it's really looking for people who have criminal intent. And of course, when you're talking about criminal intent, then you must bring the evidence forward. So, because the maximum of the law is, we would rather that 9 persons go free than 1 person is unjustly convicted.
Let's come to you, Adeboye, and this is what you think could be happening online, with this sort of gap or, this issue and the process of uploading to IRL.
I'm sorry, I didn't get the question very well.
What kind of message do you think this is sending to the online community? What do you think could be happening with, questions on the process and the uploading, the slow uploading to the IRL?
Yeah. So I think the online community, as you put it, were the most excited, about the introduction of the beavers and the IRA. And so it was something that the online community was looking forward to. And that has generated a lot of conversation. If you are following trends of conversation on social media right now, it's all about what is happening with regards to the IREF and discrepancies that a lot of people are saying, oh, you've declared this state, but on the IREF, not all the results are listed there, because that is where the enthusiasm is coming from for the generation of younger people who are more digitally savvy, who are more comfortable accessing information online or more comfortable doing their things digitally. So that's also, I think, a demography that are most probably offended by the fact that we are not sticking to that, that part of the bargain in a lot of ways. But I also think that it's very important for me to emphasize what would have been a way for maybe Inec to manage the situation better. I think that Inec also left a lot of gaps with respect to communication, especially on social media. I remember early yesterday, I went to check Inec's social media handle, and I saw that it was just blank. It was blank from 8 a.m. when the election started up to when the election was almost ending on Saturday. I think that it's still a transition process for government institutions. I mean, we have to admit that transition in terms of deploying digital means in communicating with the people. There's a lot of demography of young people who are more comfortable receiving information on those platforms. So I feel that for a very long time, Inec left a gap, which it could probably have made things easier if it had filled that gap. And what do I mean about filling the gap? When people started complaining about the high ref and all of that, although eventually there was a press release addressing the issue, but I thought that waited for too long because people started getting agitated the moment there were complaints on social media about the high ref, about the beavers, and the fact that I didn't see anything for so long. I feel that if INEC had come forward much earlier to say that we have been receiving reports, even if you don't have a position at that point, just acknowledge that you have been receiving the reports and you are looking into it while you are preparing your, a more robust response. So, in terms of what's happening in the online community, of course, agitations, people saying all sorts of things, but I think we still have decent amount of time to manage the situation, to manage the communication that needs to take place. And if I have a way or if I have a channel through which I can communicate with the head of communication for INEC right now, I'll be telling him you need to make your communication more consistent and you need to explore all communication platforms. All this traditional method of waiting to release press statements and waiting to call all journalists into a room before you can pass information across. I think the world has moved past that and we need to explore the channels of communication that we have. Even if you are not saying anything specifically, just let people know that you are looking into the issue. Just let people know that INEC is on top of the issue. Admit the challenges you are facing, but at the same time, let assure people that you are looking into the matter and that you will ensure that the will of the people is what matters at the end of the day.
I'm sure that you are listening because virtually everyone is watching this and watching you at this point in time. But this leaves us with very few, shall we say, good options at this point. But we'll have to take a slightly deeper look at that with you and Prof. Right after this break. We'll be right back. for staying tuned. Welcome back. That's the formal announcement from the Inec Center in Lagos of the presidential election result for Lagos. Which showed, as we had told you previously, that the Labour Party's presidential candidate, Mr. Peter Obi, had that election in at Lagos State. I think I have enough time here to thank Adeboye Adegoke for his time, for joining us on the program, and for your insight. I'm sure the necessary officers of Inec and those who are close to them have listened, because right now it's how to resolve the conundrum that the Commission and the stakeholders find themselves, that everyone is after. Thank you so much for your time on the program this afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me to share my perspective.
Thank you. Of course, back here in our studios, Babajide Oguso has been fairly long-suffering on this.
All you argue was typing and calculating.
Yes, that's also.
He's a numbers guy, so.
Yes, so I'm believing that while we're keeping Prof with us, you can now give us an idea of where we stand now, because I understand there are one or so results that have also come in while we were doing all that.
Yeah, that's correct. Where we stand now is we have 11 state results. 4 of those results have been announced by the chairman in Abuja. 7 of those results have been announced at the state level. In all, the total of these 11 states shows that the APC has scored 3.4 million votes. The PDP has 2.3 million votes. Second, the Labour Party, about to get back into the race, 1.2 million votes. In all, the APC leading by 1 million votes. That is the position as at now. In all 11 states, 5 of those states in northern Nigeria, 7 of those states in southern Nigeria. A lot of people want to know which of these 11 states have the APC won, as the PDP won, and as the Labour Party won. The APC has won 5 states: Ekiti, Ondo, Oyo, Kwara, and Jigawa. PDP has won 4 states: Osun, Katsina, Yobe, and Gombe states. The Labour Party has won Lagos and Enugu State. Again, there are different ways we can look at this. We can look at that by what will be on the faces of most PDP followers now, and that's just behind you, Ayo. It's perhaps a representation of what the APC looks like.
As at this moment.
3.4 million votes across these 11 states, leading by a margin of 1 million votes.
Can we put that on the screen so that our viewers see what we're seeing? Can we go to those two, there we go. So please speak on Babajide so that the viewers are able to program.
So APC total votes across 11 states that we've seen results from, complete results from, APC scores 3,408,306 votes. PDP's total votes, 2,364,086 votes. The reason why the PDP isn't frowning right now is this same time 4 years ago when these 11 states were announced, the PDP was in worse shape. They were losing 4 years ago across these 11 states by 2.1 million votes. This time around, they are still losing, but with a slimmer margin. So the PDP not yet in total chaos based on these results. But looking at the Labour Party, the smiles from the Labour Party will really be upside down. And that's because at the moment, they are third in this race, only 1.2 million was the exact number across the 11 states for Labour Party, 1,253,933. If you look at the race to the finish, yes, 87 million persons have picked up their PVCs, clearly in the lead by over 1 million votes. The APC, PDP coming close, and the Labour Party third. NNPP, AGDA, and the others still about to get off the starting blocks. But let's not forget, only 11 states out of Nigeria's 36 26 states and the FCT have been released. Most of the states in the north, not yet released. We've seen states that the PDP won in the previous election, they are losing. We've seen states that the APC won in this election, they've lost. So it is still not easy to determine who will win this race. I would say that it's perhaps easier for you to catch your shadow than for you to know who will win at this point. What we expect is for Inec to be more transparent. You know, like in the words of the former US President Thomas Jefferson, he said that honesty is the first chapter in the book of wisdom. And for many Nigerians watching at home right now, it seems that Inec has torn this first chapter away. Because based on what is happening on IREF, a lot of Nigerians expected that by the moment the results are being declared at the collation center, all of the polling unit results will have been uploaded and will have been transparent for millions of Nigerians who have picked up their PVCs. A lot of the 14 million new first-time voters that have picked up their PVCs because of the promises of the IREF. What exactly is happening with the IREF? Millicent, there are no clear answers. We've seen some results, but majority of the results of this election, over 176,000 polling units, less than half of those results have been uploaded.
And there's been a lot of reactions to this. I mean, we saw Senator Dinon Melaye at the National Collation Center, giving his view and saying we'll hear back from him and from some of the other political parties on that.
Incidentally, we're already hearing from the Labour Party.
Yes, a special invitation to a World Press Conference, and this is by the leadership of the Labour Party's Presidential Campaign Council, and we believe this is happening when?
Today.
Today.
Unless today is not Monday. Today, February 27th.
That's just in a couple of hours. The thing is the World Press Conference hosted by the leadership of the Labour Party's Presidential Campaign Council, and then it is holding at the Plateau Hall, Transcorp Hilton. That's at Maitama at the Federal Capital Territory.
You want to take that again so that people get the details?
All right, a special invitation to a World Press Conference by the leadership of the Labour Party's Presidential Campaign Council. They're saying this is happening today at 4 p.m. That's just in about 2 hours, 30 minutes. And it's at the Transcorp Hilton, the Plateau Hall at Maitama, Abuja, at the Federal Capital Territory. Very interesting to join that conference to see what they have to say.
One would expect that they have a lot to say about the process and the results released so far. Of course, that conference is at 4 o'clock, which is under 90 minutes actually from now, because it's about 25 or so minutes to 3. We of course continue to keep tabs on the International Conference Center. That's the venue of that collation, even though we were told previously that they'd be back in an hour, which would have been around 2. But the lights have been turned off now. We don't know what exactly is behind that, but we're keeping our eyes on that. Should they come back on and get back to business, we'll be, of course, the first to let you.
And they had told us 7 states, they read out 3, so we would assume also when they come back, they would have more and more states, on that list.
As well as the, should I say, cliffhanger of going by the issues that have been raised.
projections can be made. You can trust that those projections within some margin of error. Yeah, yes, yeah.
Should by now have the results. From Yaga's preliminary statement, the PDP has representatives, party agents in 99% of polling units in Nigeria. The APC has polling agents in 97% of polling units, all polling in 176,006 of this election that we just had. The Labour Party has 69% coverage of polling units by their party agents. If they have those figures and they have those results from those polling centers, is there, how significant then is the hue and cry about IREP?
Well, that's the issue of legitimacy you spoke about and the perception. Because, yeah, you said so do it, and you hold yourself accountable. In fact, that is where the world is going to. Public agencies should say, we will perform at this level and hold us liable if we do not. That's the only way you can get the staff to perform. You know, hedging and saying we shouldn't tolerate that. You should take your position on ground and say, this is what we're going to do, and then you've got to do it. You have to raise that level of that measure of professionalism. But the issue about, and that's also an issue, if you have 69,000, then obviously you don't know what's happening in those other areas. 69%, you don't know what's happening in those other areas. So there's going to be
in the case of one of the
yeah, so that's going to be an issue. But you probably don't need what's it now, 90% for you to make projections about where is it, because you know you can do some weighting and then you should reasonably be able to know where we're at. So what I'm saying is not that they would declare, but they should be candid about what their performance is based on the reports that the polling agents have sent them.
Perhaps actually that is the basis. You wanted to say something?
Yes, you want that
Please put this in context. Inec is the referee. And a lot of Nigerians don't really understand the purpose of the IREF. And the best way to understand it is to look at it from a football perspective. The IREF is the equivalent of the VAR in football. The IREF is the equivalent of the VAR. And imagine if FIFA promised that during the World Cup, the VAR will be used to check for fouls. And we go into the World Cup, we start the game, and we discover that the VAR is not working.
Yeah.
Will we continue the game? And that is what the IREF stands for. The IREF is the equivalent of VAR for the footballers. And so we've gone into this match. The footballers expect the VAR to be working to catch the fouls, to know if it should be a penalty, should know if it should be a yellow card. That's what it is. It's the VAR. So what has happened is we've seen Inec host the World Cup. It's the equivalent of the World Cup. Promised to use the VAR, but the VAR was not used.
However, in the football's analogy, the referee also still calls what he sees on the VAR.
And that's what's going on now.
And because we also have, you should have called this, you should not have called this. So that goes.
Which also speaks to
Yes,
perceptions of trust.
yes,
Also,
exactly. Yeah,
because if you promised that you were going to use the VAR as the referee, what happens is that when people say, the referee, you should have seen this, and he says, okay, let me go and check.
Exactly.
So he goes to the VAR to check, checks, comes back and says, well, actually, that's correct. The VAR has confirmed that this penalty is not a foul or whatever it is.
On his own judgment.
No, of course not. But then you see again, going back to where we stand now, perhaps, the whole issue still dovetails to overpromise and under-delivery. And
disappointed. We wouldn't be here if there were no expectations. The expectations were that results would be uploaded. Expectations were that immediately the results and the process was concluded, the Beavers machine that was used, the same Beavers machine that was used for accreditation is the same Beavers machine that is meant to be used to upload the results. So the question is, if the Beavers worked well for accreditation, why did it not work well for upload?
And even for the BVAS, there were contingencies where BVAS was taken, it was replaced.
Fixed in some instances. And there's a number of unanswered questions.
But again, that doesn't stop who is in the lead.
Yeah, but
I want to talk about the Resident Electoral Commissioner for Ebonyi, who has just threatened to arrest any INEC official who fails to turn in their results today, saying that there were some delays from the INEC officials.
That's some news there. Please, can you repeat that for the couple?
The Resident Electoral Commissioner for Ebonyi State, Ugochi Onyeka, has threatened to arrest any INEC official who fails to turn in their results today. The REC made a statement, and this is following the delays by some INEC officials in that state.
And we also, of course, need to remind our viewers of that World Press Conference being called by the leadership of the Presidential Campaign Council of the Labour Party in Abuja at 4 o'clock this evening. Of course, the speculations are right, very much so, that they tend to weigh in on these very issues that we are discussing here on set, what has happened with the process and all of that. So where we are, well, perhaps let's take this opportunity to remind our viewers of the various people who have won, prominent people who have won elections.
National Assembly seats.
Yeah, particularly the National Assembly.
And earlier, just when we started the show, we spoke about Colonel Musa Yar'Adua of the APC winning the Katsina Central Senatorial District. We also understand that David Mark's daughter, Lady Blessing Onu, was re-elected under the APC. She polled 29,031 to beat PDP's candidate, Ahmed Ochacho, who was said to have polled 21,742 to clinch the Utupo Ohimini zone. Senator Pabio, Godswill Pabio, wins Akwa Ibom Northwest senatorial election. Senator Ahmed Lawan wins his seat, Yobe North senatorial zone. Enugu Governor Ifeanyi Wine, we understand, lost his Senate seat. Speaker Femi Gbadebamila won his seat in Lagos. Senator Solomon Abdullah also won the APC ticket. Senator Lijimi lost to return bid to APC's Adara Modu. And we have the APC's Umweboyi retiring ex-Governor Sam Egbu from the Senate. Over in Cross River, Governor Ben Ayade lost his senatorial election. We understand also that the final results of the National Assembly elections in Ondo State, the APC won the 3 senatorial seats, as well as 8 out of the 9 federal constituencies, giving one for the People's Democratic Party. And it's another surprise, Kaduna North senatorial seat, the PDP won there. Khalid Ibrahim Mustafa, he polled a total of 250,026 votes to defeat his closest rival, the incumbent Senator Sulaiman Abdul Kawari of the APC, who scored 190,008 votes. Many of these details are still coming in, and more collation taking place across the country.
A lot of surprises, many of these surprises speak to the level of competitiveness of the electoral process itself. Even as we talk about all of this and the issues and kinks that have come up with the process and what is to be done about it, we must remind ourselves, Prof, that in about 10, 11 days we'll be back here again talking about the governorship and state houses of assembly elections. So it's not only important to fix this for this purpose, it's also important to fix it for the coming election, because that one, in fact, is the one closer to the people at the grassroots. But I wonder if, as part of looking at this in a winding spoken to that. Prof has already spoken to that to say no. That wasn't funded. But guys, we got to go. First of all, we got to thank Professor Olawale Ajayi, legal, social, and political environment of business. Thank you so much for being with us on this day. Of course, Babajide Okusoro is our in-house person, is a co-anchor. Jide, as always, it's a pleasure to have you with us. Guys,
just before we go, we should just wrap up with this one very quickly. The APC candidates have appealed to the people of Lagos to be calm and eschew any act that can lead to breakdown of law and order.
That's the APC presidential candidate. That's talking about Senator Bart, you know.
Yes, Senate, and the outcome of the election in Lagos, where the Labour Party won the presidential election, should not be a source of provocation, and that needs to be emphasized, saying that the beauty of democracy is that people have a right to vote for the candidate of their choice. I think it's very, very important that that's coming from him and not
Talking about
just
strategic communication.
And then another hour.
One more thing, I think the Chief of Defense Staff General Okirab also mentioned yesterday is to remind everyone that there's no party that is greater than the party we all belong to. The party called Unity, Faith, Peace, and Progress.
That might also be the message of the Labour Party in Abuja. We're headed there now.
Well, we go to Abuja now on behalf of Ayo and Millicent, who are being with me. I can see Chamberlain, Maupe, and Nilta. Hi, guys. Good afternoon.
Well, yes, indeed. We're picking up from here. So, welcome to our continuing coverage of the general elections, the 2023 verdict. And yes, indeed, all eyes has indeed been on wherever the results are coming from, National Collation Center, State Collation Center. So, lots of questions, impressions, perceptions about all that people have seen, and probably to a large extent what they are about to see. Yes, they've already formed their opinion actually. So we will be here to guide you through as much as we can. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. I'm Chamberlain. What's up?
Indeed, welcome once again. I'm Maupe Ogunye, so thank you so much for staying with us so far.
Exciting, but yet, like I said, draining, waiting for those results to come in. But I'm sure everyone around the country, and indeed around the world, are waiting for this. Someone said Nigerians in diaspora are waiting like hawks to get the final. And now, Tariq, it's good to have you with us.
We're working together, actually. So we're keeping our tabs on the National Collation Center. So we should be crossing over anytime soon to see what the commission will be doing next, having taken a break a moment ago. Well, here in the studios, we've got some analysts joining us to shed light on some of what they've seen and what we should expect, probably. On my far right, Oluwole Osaze-Ozi, former Director of Voter Education for Inec. Professor Bosede Alimi is an area analyst now. Professor Remi Aide is just on my immediate right, so I don't mix that all up. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to the studios. So perhaps you should give us your impressions of what you've seen so far. Prof, let me start with you. Just your mic for a bit. So, could you also tell us, I know, you've seen some results through Remi, So tell us, concerning what you've seen, what you expected, how do you reconcile that?
I mean, as you know, we are non-partisan. The CSOs, we are here to ensure a credible process. But I think that one of the things that's evident is that Nigerians have come out to vote. They are committed to defending their vote. And I think, as you mentioned earlier, all eyes are on the collation centers, as it should be. And I think one of the things that we're checkmating ourselves on is the importance of understanding where you're getting your results from. I think we need to continue to emphasize the importance of people actually looking to the Electoral Commission for the announced and declared results as their source. So I think, for me, our democracy is evolving. And we are part of that process. So it's unfolding, it's evolving, and we are part of telling the story. So everything that's happening is what we expect to happen in a democracy. And I think as long as that's happening, then, it's like life is in session, if you know what I mean.
Well, Ms. Susie, I know you have, you've had a huge experience of being in Inec, so when people have this impression of Inec, probably you will understand it to a larger extent than many who've not been in there. So if you could just go ahead and then tell us, having heard the impressions, expressions that people have so far of Inec, perhaps in addition to what played out at the National Coalition Center, what do you think?
Well, I think we've seen the good, the not so good, the bad, and the ugly, with due respect to those who had that title of that film then. The good, the resilience of the people, the determination to ensure that they vote and their vote counts, the patience to wait, and their willingness to sacrifice so much to exercise their franchise. That was so good. On the next part, the fact that there were no postponements of this election is an incredible thing, and let's give credit. Because recall that in 2011 there was postponement. The last 3 cycles have led to postponements. 2011 you said it was because of logistics issues after the commencement of the day of election, after the commencement of the election. In 2015, it was 2 weeks at a time, or a couple of weeks at a time, because of the security challenge in one part of the country, maybe 2, 3 states, Adamawa, Borno, and Yobe. In 2019, it was a different ball game. It was a couple of hours to the election. So we've seen during the election, shortly before the election, and hours to the election. Now, I don't think any of those 3 cycles, the kind of challenges Inec faced, was as daunting as the challenges faced with the cash policy, with the lack of fuel, with this insecurity in the country. This time, it was not just one zone, it cut across all the zones, and throwing banditry, herdsmen clashes, kidnap for ransom, and things like that, attack of Inec facilities, to the fact that this election was fantastic.
But is it a good thing now, that postponement, considering how the whole scenario is playing out? Because people thought that there was going to ramp up that quest for transparency on the part of Inec, because even the times that you had it postponed, all right, people said, okay, well, if it was for this reason, probably. But now, look at where we are.
I was even going to equate the service delivery, apart from the logistics challenges, to the backdrop of the challenges faced by the Commission in conducting the election. Maybe, just maybe, some of it can be excused for the late arrival of materials. If, in view of late arrivals, we still went ahead and, let's say, results were declared on time, or the area was working properly, I think people were ready to forgive a bit of that. But you cannot blame, I don't think you can blame that. I read the next statement yesterday, I don't think you can blame that for the non-adherence, let me use that term, to the guidelines to upload the results onto the IRF portal.
The law gives the role, the responsibility of putting out the guidelines for the elections. Besides the Electoral Act that everybody has, INEC determines the guidelines in the process of executing the Electoral Act, right?
Yes.
So, if the three of you can weigh in on this, INEC had the challenges, but INEC gave assurances to the Nigerians that, look, this is what's going to be, and it's sacrosanct. There's no going back on uploading these results where everyone can see it. And even close to the election day proper, there was that statement from the NCC that no, there's nothing like shutting down of the networks. Everything is okay. So did INEC not assess, Mr. Rizzi, you can start off on this, did INEC not assess the how do you say now, the tools it has at hand to execute the elections effectively?
I think a proper postmortem will show us that. It's difficult to say exactly now because, again, all the facts are not before the public. We don't know all the facts, so it's difficult to assess. But not just the guidelines. The law requires it, for example, to do certain things. So it's not a question of whether you want to or you don't want to, or you're capable of doing it. What's the law? Law is almost strict, almost utopia. The law says this, send these things, transmit. Whether you like it or not, as a statutory body, you must comply with the law. And it's further reinforced by your regulations, which you yourself made. And you're allowed to make those regulations as long as they don't conflict with the act. If they conflict with the act will take precedence and the regulations will give way. But it's supposed to be fit, it's supposed to be lifeblood of that act, giving effect to the act. I don't know, the statement did not say everything that was necessary or that happened, so I'm trying not to be too judgmental until I hear all the facts, what were really the challenges. It said what was not the challenge.
Yeah, and let me just take off from where Mr. Uzi stopped. I think my challenge with INEC is that statement that was released at about 6 p.m. yesterday, as far as I am concerned, could have been released at 6 p.m. the day before without a comma changed. The exact same statement saying we're having challenges, they're glitches, it's not an internal sabotage, it's not been hacked, but we're working on it. Do you see what I mean? Because as you said, it was supposed to be a platform that just, ensured transparency. And so that level of communication would have given Nigerians further assurance, right? So there was an assurance that it would work on the day. So many things are unpredictable. Technology in itself is not, explicit. But then you communicate with the people. So I think my major concern is, I read that press release, as someone who's a communication expert, and I'm thinking to myself, this same release could have been sent out at the same time the previous day without changing a word. Why they did not do that, I think it has now led to a huge vacuum, and it's giving room for people to make a lot of assertions.
Before you weigh in on this, let's just hear from the international observers. The former president of South Africa, Thabo Mbeki, speaking to the press about the elections. And then we'll come back to you, Prof. Let's take that.
There were still long queues at some of the polling stations or polling units at the time of the closing of the polls. However, it was observed that those who were in the queues at 2:30 p.m. when the polls closed were allowed to vote. The close and count followed the due process for the most part with a high degree of transparency. And though various polling units experienced significant delays in closing due to their late openings, we found that the management of closing and count procedures varied in inconsistency. And one of the marked challenges we noted was the fact that as voting hours were extended, the close and count had to take place in the dark in many cases. It was noted that at some polling units, there was no proper lighting to facilitate counting at night. We know that lamps were not provided to polling staff to assist them in carrying out their crucial duties at this phase of the process. And on results management, we observed that the results were not uploaded on the Inec results reviewing or viewing portal in real time as expected in many of these cases. We acknowledge the statement released by Inec in this regard. And to conclude, as the results process continues, let me end by reiterating the desire that all Nigerians, especially the candidates who contested elections, continue to uphold their pre-election commitment to peace. The group strongly encourages all Nigerians to exercise patience to allow INEC and its staff across the country to conclude the result process effectively and peacefully. And we wish to reiterate the assessment of the previous Commonwealth Observer Group in 2019 that electoral reform remains a continuous process.
Former President of South Africa, Tawombeki, speaking for the International Observer Group and talking about some of the things he mentioned. A proper lighting for counting of the results is one of the things he mentioned. Results weren't uploaded as promised by Inec on the iOS so that the entire society can also monitor the inflow of the results and how the attended. Professor Ayede, you were going to weigh in on what we were saying earlier, but tying also these things that Tawombeki has mentioned.
Which is very interesting, given the fact that he's talking about the upload of those results and also the circumstances in which it is done. And if you look at the speech, the release by INEC concerning that, it explained the glitch in the technology, but it did not address the consequences of that glitch. For instance, a lot of officials at the polling unit that were not able to upload the results before moving them to the collation center. What are they supposed to do? The idea is that those at the collation center would not deal with the results until they are uploaded. But now if you go to the IREM, you'll find that although the state has been officially released, there are still many results from polling units that have not been uploaded. And that has to be addressed by INEC in terms of what steps should be taken, in the interim to address all of those things. Because traditionally, if you have a situation like that, you say these results are provisional, pending when, certain steps are taken. So we have not seen that.
Yeah, and that's extremely important because I also heard the INEC chairman say that in a situation of discrepancy, it is the uploaded results that INEC is going to go with. Even though, yes, they're doing a manual collation and it is the results you bring to the center that they're going with. But in the case of a discrepancy, wherever it is that they don't agree, so there are questions now, because we've seen that quite a number of political parties are beginning to raise objections to some of the results that are being released. What results are they now going to go to say, we're comparing it with? And Mr. Ozi, do you want to intervene on this?
Yes. It's a little bit slightly complex, so it shouldn't really be. But basically, first thing is that the law requires the presiding officer to upload the results at the polling units.
Indeed.
And the basis of that one, when you want to do collation, there are two steps that the collation officer has to look at. The first thing is say, look, the number of accredited voters, look at the beavers machine itself. What is the number of accredited voters in this machine? Does it tally with the one put in the ECHA, with the result sheet? If it tallies, no problem. You go to the next level. Now look at the scores of the candidates, the votes scored by each candidate. Look at it from the ECHA and compare it with the transmitted results. And ensure that they are the same before he goes on to do this collation. And you're quite right. When there is now, if there's a dispute, now he has a choice. The law says you should go to the transmitted results and to resolve it. But he can actually compare. Okay, the agent has come, there's a dispute. What I have here is 87, what you have in the form. He will do a comparison. It's an audit. It's just to make sure that all the results, in theory, should tally. If you don't tally, there's a problem.
So is there anything wrong then with what some of the agents were asking of INEC and by extension of those other officers who were to declare the result, asking just ensure that they reconcile or they tell us that what they have has been uploaded already?
I don't think there's anything wrong per se, but you see, is this the right venue to do so? Collation has been going on at different levels, right from the ward level to the local government level to the state level. Did you ask for this at that time? And it's presupposed that you did. And usually, actually, the problem will come when there's a discrepancy. The real issues will come if there's a discrepancy.
In total, number of areas affected are 25. 25 areas are affected, versus comprising of 33 units, polling units. With total registered voters 23,097. And the total number of PVCs collected for those cancelled units are 12,163. Thank you. Now, may I call on the party agents to come? I will be calling them alphabetically. So if we have party agent for A, party, here, A. If you are here, come and sign. A, AA, AAC, ADC. Which one?
Well, so it's usually perhaps several hours later. Masusi is the only person here who's going to who can tell us what usually happens behind the scenes when they're trying to just what? Why does it take this? If they fix three about 6 hours ago, or even from yesterday, what usually happens? How they don't bang on time for this kind of scenarios?
I wouldn't know what the reason is for this because although I've been to the center, I haven't gone to the inner sanctum to find out what it is.
But from your experience, what used to keep you guys beyond the time set because you were there?
Yes, APC. APGA, ATM. Do we have APGA? Huh? Okay. APM. APP, APP, BP, BP, no BP agent, LP, LP. NNPP, NRM, NRM, PDP, PRP, PRP, SDP, YPP, LP, ZLP, so we'll distribute the first two copies. come and get their carbon copies.
Microphones quiet.
15,000, 15785. 15785. 15785. 15,785. Rejected votes 935. 935. 935. Total vote cast 16,719. 719. That is 16719. 16719. That's it. That's all. Total valid vote 15784. 15784. 15784. And total vote cast 16719. Any cancellation? No cancellation. Apart from the fact that the beavers was very slow at uploading in some people. So people came a little late, but there was no cancellation. If you have any observation, please sign on. Labour Party. Yes, let him have the microphone. My name is Inec, the state coalition agent for Labour Party. Similar things happen in Africa. The results were not being uploaded, the units, because the bill failed to upload. And then secondly, in most areas the election didn't start on time. And when it gets to around 4 p.m., the staffs of Inec said they want to close. And we have hours of presence that are not voted. And then in one Thursday, there are no result sheets. There are no result sheets in Ward 5 in Africa. Thank you, sir. Is it true? Were you at the level of the polling unit? You don't receive any information from position officers and the various ward coalitions. They were there and they collected the results. Are you aware of what happened at the level of the units? Yes. And because that is not part of your responsibility. Well, it's not part. But I was there because they collected, they came back, and there was no incident. Apart from what you can tell us is that you don't have any of these reports. Okay. But once you say that it means you are stepping your boundaries. And so I ask again, do you have reports from the polling units? No reports. Idima and Oda East. I'm sure we're starting that soon. And so we call for another 30 minutes break. And so we can look at the time to convey by 25 minutes past 4. We'll come back and we'll start 25 minutes past 4, believing that at least one or two of the local governments will have arrived. Thank you for your patience. And this indeed is part of our contribution, ensuring that our democracy is transparent. And I'm sure you can attest to what we are doing here. Long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
You see there that this Ogobolo local government area, the PDP, clinching that one. So, you know, that's reverse. And it's particularly interesting given the build-up to these elections, even the day yesterday, and then the coalition going on today, questions concerning security, organization, the political parties, who will clinch it, bearing in mind what the G5, their stance. So it's a unique dynamic. Prof, I think we should start off with this one because you had also looked at some states and perhaps generally in terms of the trend, what happened before, what could likely happen this time. So any surprises for you with Rivers so far?
I don't really look towards any surprise in Rivers, although there's been some tension. But you know, Wike is reported to have moved his loyalty to away from the Atiku camp to Ashiwaju's camp, the APC. But you also know that they have a PDP candidate for the gubernatorial election. And now if you look at the boomerang effect, go back to the 2003 election, happens in the Southwest. You have this whole idea of let's vote for the president in the presidential election from one party and vote another candidate from the governorship. What simply happens is that when the tsunami comes, it sweeps everybody away. So it's a dangerous game in Rivers. And if it happens that there was a general shift of the electorate towards the APC, that is likely to have some effect on the gubernatorial election. So I suspect that given the fact that Wike is not naive, and because that's why, again, he has not openly declared the state for APC, I have a sense that the strength of Atiku in Rivers State, which is traditional, you have the same situation playing out in Oyo State as well. And you see, once you move your loyalty to the presidential candidate, it has a boomerang effect on others. And that's why now the entire senatorial seat has gone to the APC. So if care is not taken, and they allow this shift away from PDP to the APC, it's likely to affect the gubernatorial
One state
election.
that has one person has actually declared his stance on what happened in Lagos happens to be Bola Tinubu. So he's spoken about saying that Lagosians should be calm. But let's cross over to the conference and the National Coalition Center, which you're seeing there. So National Chairman is speaking on that.
Some clarification on the issues raised. I crave your indulgence to give the clarification when we take the 3 states so that they go back, and then the process will continue. So may I invite the resident electoral commissioner for Ogun State, accompanied by the state collection officer for the presidential election for Ogun State, to make their presentation. I will come back to all the issues you have raised, I promise you. Okay. Go ahead. Please resume your seat. You'll be given the opportunity to speak. Please resume your seat. has a mic?
Mr. Chairman, sir, I represent the Labour Party. We have made observations. We've craved the indulgence of the Commission to take seriously our observation, and it appears that the Commission is not willing to listen to our own observations. It is in this note that we have, as a party, believed in your own statement and in the statement of the Commission, which you have been promising Nigerians that you are going to conduct credible and acceptable election through the Beavers, which has been acclaimed, which has been said that it is going to be used for the purpose of uploading all the results. As it is, most of the results that have come so far were made observation. From the one that you have even declared here, we observed over votings, and we have received from our own agent that the upload from the Beavers has not been taking place. So we therefore are not going to accept what we are presenting to us here. This is the position of the Labour Party. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Ina Okopi Agu. I'm the National Secretary of the African Action Congress. I'd like to refer us to the Electoral Act 2022 as amended. Section 64, subsection that refer to 64, section 64, subsection 4A and B. With your kind permission, I'll read. It says, a coalition officer or returning officer at an election shall collate and announce the result of an election subject to his or her verification and confirmation that a number of accredited voters stated on the collated results are correct and consistent with the number of accredited voters recorded and transmitted, the keyword there is transmitted, directly from polling units under section 40, subsection 2 of this act as amended. B, the votes stated on the collated results are correct and consistent with the votes or results recorded and transmitted, keyword again, directly from polling units under section 60, subsection 4 of the act as amended. Now the point is, when I stood up the other time, the point we raised was that any scope that comes here to share and give Nigerians results from their state, you must demand from them, if these results they are uploading or they are giving to us here have been uploaded before presenting to Nigerians. This is a simple thing that we want, so that it is consistent with what the Electoral Act has requested the Commission to do. I don't know if this makes sense. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, my name is Emeka Ihedion. Mr. Chairman, I can proudly say that I'm a person of high standing in our society. I've been a legislator for 12 years. I was a presiding officer. Mr. Chairman, I was elected by my people as their governor. Mr. Chairman, I understand the process and procedures. I'm a person who values the integrity of our system. But when there are doubts, it's important we all come up on one page. Sir, the desire of most Nigerians is that this process should be seen as free, fair, and transparent. I have been in contact with several agents
of our parties across the country. Now, the fact is that results uploaded from polling units in a number of states are not what is being collected. Now, we've had incidents of hijack, we've had incidents of result writing, we've had incidents of manipulation. It makes sense that we interrogate these processes so that we, at this point, if a result is collected and we accept that those results are okay, then it's good to go. If we do not interrogate this process at this point, then it means that our business here has undermined the process. Mr. Chairman, I plead with you to appreciate the point we've raised and give some time to look at this so that the integrity is sustained. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Sorry, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for this opportunity. I want to actually refer the Commission because we have so much confidence, we from the political parties, we have so much confidence in your leadership. And we know, as a matter of fact, we've been engaged in a lot of quarterly meetings, we have discussed a lot, and we believe you want to give Nigerians the best. And the greatest thing you can do for us is, at the end of the day, let Nigerians, the votes that Nigerians casted be what will be declared. I am very much aware that Section 65 of the Electoral Act, I know this Commission has powers for review. If there are states, for instance, where there are discrepancies, I know Section 65, subsection C, that has to do with declaration of scores of candidates and the return of a candidate, provided that the Commission shall have the powers within 7 days to review the declaration and return where the Commission determines that the said declaration and return was not made voluntarily or was made contrary to the provisions of the law, regulations and guidelines, and the manual for election. Sir, please hearken to the cry and the voice of political parties, which I know and we trust you. Don't look at any pressure. We know you can handle this. After all, when forces we are trying to remove you as Inec chairman, we stood by you. And we believe you can give Nigerians the best. If there are areas where there are discrepancies, I know you have the powers to review. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Nkem Ogando, agent for ADC. Mr. Chairman, I've actually listened to my colleagues, and I want to urge and plead, since it is obvious that the results, most of them have not been uploaded on the polling unit according to the electoral law that we just read. I want to appeal that we adjourn this session to maybe 24 hours to enable the state people, the state collection officers, to upload all their polling unit results so that we can proceed. Thank you.
Good day, Mr. Chairman. I still represent APP. Chinameloba is my name. It is surprising that political parties who are supposed to be fighting now are in unison saying the same thing. Not just surprising, but fundamental. There is no point progressing in error, Mr. Chairman. We are racing to nowhere. This election started on Saturday. Today is almost over. I insist, in line with my colleagues here, that we get it right. Let us get it right before we proceed with the collation. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Dino Elai, PDP. Mr. Chairman, they said the voice of the people is the voice of God. Those of us who spoke from this angle are representatives of the political parties that participated in this election. And it is only responsible for Inec to listen to us. When you made your presentation earlier, you made it look as if agents are just here to rubber stamp whatever the returning officers are presenting. Because you said you passed that stage, it's at the state of ward, polling units,
But the provisions of Section 65 have already mandated you, because you are also a returning officer in this election. It's just the difference is that they are returning officers from the states, and you are returning results for the presidential election. And the provision of Section 65 is very, very unambiguous and is clear. And it is that you have the power and capacity to review results here. And you cannot review results if there are no agitation of infractions from the political parties. And that is what we are saying. That we cannot move forward except the law is respected, except the promise you made to Nigerians. I have just done a little research. You have promised Nigerians 68 times that beavers will work. And my brother, Barrister Festus Okoye, after I checked using Google machine, I promised Nigeria 118 times that beavers will work. We want to see it work and working by going to the portal to see all these results. It worked in Edo, it worked in Osun, it must work in this presidential election. We cannot proceed with computation or collation of results when we cannot see. The confidence we have in this electoral act is the introduction of the electronic transmission of results. If that is not done, then there is no difference between what we are doing now and what we did in 2015, because what you are doing is practical manual collation. That means the billions of taxpayers' money, including mine, that was spent on the issue of beavers and transmission of electronic results is wasted. And we should not be wasters. We want a categorical response on this issue of uploading results. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, my name is Mr. Frank White. I represent the APP. Mr. Chairman, last Saturday, Nigerians trooped out in their mass, in millions, because of the confidence that the electronic transmission of results put in them. They came out and, it was so massive that so many of them left what they're supposed to do. Those days of playing football in the streets were not seen on Saturday. Mr. Chairman, the integrity of this process will stand undermined if the electronic transmission that my colleagues here have requested is not guaranteed. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. First, I will seek a clarification. Do we speak as individuals or we speak for the parties? A situation where two persons are speaking on behalf of a party. I speak for APC. And I will not think, after I've spoken for APC, my colleague who also get up to say he's also speaking for APC. We are not, in my opinion, in a debate. I will also correct the impression when it was said that the political parties are in unison. We are not in unison with, excuse me, Mr. Senator Melaye and Right Honorable. With all respect, kindly let me speak. We are not in unison with them. A lot of law has been procured, preferred, and quoted here, most especially Section 65, which says the Commission shall have the powers. These powers have been conferred on the Commission by statute, and it is the discretion of the Commission to exercise its powers as it deems fit, and not whether we demand it or we want to proclaim or dictate it. Secondly, sir, the same
reviewed by an election tribunal. And I think if we are not satisfied, like has been rightly said, the whole world is watching this process. We should let the process run its course. Like has been rightly observed, there were elections in other places, some of which have been contested in the courts. Why is this being made to be different? Let the results be presented. And just to add, that the provision of section 66 subsection 4 that is now being misrepresented here says upload from polling units. But we are not here to debate whether it was uploaded or not. That cannot be reviewed here. So my appeal is for the Commission to proceed with its constitutional duty and make the results available. If we are not satisfied, we will approach the election tribunal. And that is what we are praying for. Like we said, the whole world is watching us. I appeal, sir, Mr. Chairman, that you proceed and do the needful and exercise the powers conferred on you by both the Constitution and the Electoral Act, and let us have the results so we can take necessary steps as we may deem fit. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, any more?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. My name is Zafanaya Gisalo. I represent NRM. Mr. Chairman, I've been in the parliament to also make the law and also make the electoral act. Like my senior colleague said, the law is there. The act is there. And just like the section 65 have said, the power is given to the Inec to conduct this election. And election process has been laid down for the polling unit, which all of us went round to vote. And then after they are counted, the members were there to know the number of people, the agents were there, now the collation to the ward collection center. Everything was typed, the agents were there to see what all was done at the polling unit. And from there, the process is also there to go to the local government headquarters. This is where done. And then subsequently move to the ward, move to the state. And in the state level, all these things were checked. And I don't think there was any problem. All these things have been addressed right from there. Coming here to talk on this issue, we are contrary to some of the agents that are saying, whatever they mean, we should not derail this transition. We should not derail to deceive Nigerians on what is happening. What has come here is the right thing that has been done.
Mr. Chairman, my name is Clement Ojubu. I represent Labour Party. Sir, this is democracy. I have spoken on behalf of our people. As you have promised Nigerians before today that our votes are going to count. In addition to that, you told us, or you told Nigerians, that our result will be transmitted electronically. It is not too much to demand of you to fulfill your promises. Again, remind those that is telling you of your supreme powers. Tell them you are not a military officer, but you are a leader of democracy in this country. Please kindly do the needful by telling the coalition officers from the state to first tell us how these results were transmitted before now. Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, my name is Bami Vigino, the agent for Young Progressives Party, YPP. I don't want to be seen to be taking sides on the side of anybody, but on the side of the law. I want to state that this is a fifth level of collation. The first was at the polling unit, then at the Ward Collation Center, then Local Government Collation Center, then the State Collation Center, before coming to this Collation Center, which is the fifth. And I think if there was any issue that should have been raised concerning transmission of results or whatever, they would have been tackled at those stages by our agents, which we had at all the various levels. I think what we're doing here is not in tandem with what ought to be done. I think that this process should be allowed to go. Since we couldn't tackle whatever problems, issues we had at the earlier levels, then if this process is concluded, we have the election petition tribunals that will handle whatever problems that are being raised here. I think the Inec at this stage now should be allowed to go on with the collation. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much.
Chairman, can I make a quick remark? Chairman, please.
This is...
No, I know I'm not a politician and I don't intend to be one. But we all have a stake and we all have a voice. Let me appeal to our politicians, respected individuals, to please calm down. The soul of this nation is in this hall today. And any individual that inflames this nation and create chaos, history will not forgive you. I appeal to you all. Every one of you have a very important point, and you have laid it out. Please, I don't also think in the Electoral Act that politicians have a right to stop this process. I don't like what has happened as an individual, but let's respect the law and let the law take its course. And you have every right to challenge the outcome. Please, my brother Dino and everybody, please, on behalf of the entire nation, we are please asking you please to calm down, let us have this process, and then we, civil society, will back you and challenge whatever it is. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have heard everything that you have said, but I'm going to comment on three issues. The first one, which was the starting point of all this lengthy conversation, is over the allegation of overvoting in the result presented yesterday from Ekiti State. What is overvoting? Where the total number of votes cast is higher than the number of accredited voters. Based on the original of the document signed by party agents at state level and the spreadsheet before me, there was no overvoting in Ekiti State. The total number of accredited voters is 315,058. That is what is on the authentic document. Any other figure that shows anything at variance with this did not emanate from the Commission. We provided a detailed breakdown of the scores by political parties across the board. Towards the end of the spreadsheet, we provided 3 columns. The first column is total valid votes. And that is 308,171. Total rejected votes, 6,301. Total votes cast, valid or rejected, is 314,472, which is actually lower than 315,058. Let me recap. Total number of accredited voters, 315,058. Total votes cast, both valid and invalid, is 314,472. There is no overvoting. When you compare the total number of votes cast and the number of accredited voters, if there is anything, you may actually say that there was undervoting, not overvoting. So that is my response to the first issue raised. And I repeat myself once again for clarity. If there is any figure different from what I have presented and what came from the manual forms completed by the State Collection Officer for the presidential election from Ekiti State, please discountenance that figure. It did not emanate from the Commission. I saw some postings on the social media to the effect that the Ekiti election result was published on the 20th of February, 5 days ahead of the election. And what is the evidence? They took the result presented yesterday and took the total number of registered voters for Ekiti State and concluded that the results were prepared several days before the election. All Nigerians will bear me witness that here in this hall, we presented the hard copies of the total number of registered voters in Nigeria on state-by-state basis and the number of PVCs collected. And that information, as we speak, is on the Commission's website. So if anybody is trying to be clever by half, by taking figures from somewhere and saying, oh, these results were published or released ahead of the election, that one can only pass for fake news. And I'm sure that we are responsible citizens not to fall for fake news. So my first response is that for the election results presented for Ekiti, there was no overvoting. Overvoting means the total number of votes cast is higher than the number of accredited voters. The number of accredited voters is in this particular case higher than the total number of votes cast. So that's my first response. My second response is, are the figures consistent from what transpired at the polling units and what was uploaded or ought to have been uploaded to the IRF portal? I am satisfied that the figures on this spreadsheet emanated from the process that transpired at the polling units. The polling units are the only places where citizens vote. Whatever you do thereafter, it's just collation of results. And we have provided the vote scored by each political party. However, if any political party believes that the figures they have from the hard copies of the results given by their polling agents at the level of collation, that the figures are inconsistent with what has been provided on the spreadsheet that we projected yesterday, I would like that political party to forward the information to the Commission so that we can speak on the basis of facts. I like the suggestion made that the Commission has power under the Electoral Act to review results, but that power is contingent upon one procedure. The process has to be concluded first before you can then talk about power to review. I want to assure political parties that any evidence that you have of any alleged wrongdoing at any level of the process, whether it's at the polling unit or at collation level, please forward this information. And I promise you, as soon as the process is concluded, we will then do the review as provided by law. On this note, I beg you for us to proceed with the process. Thank you very much. Okay. Now that we have established calm, we can calmly proceed with the process and conclude in the best interests of our country. So may I invite the President Electoral Commissioner for Ogun State to present, to introduce himself, and for the State Coalition Officer for the Presidential Election for Ogun State to similarly introduce himself and present the result from Ogun State. The Resident Electoral Commissioner.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. My name is Olani Ijalayi. I am the Resident Electoral Commissioner, Inec in Ogun State.
Thank you very much, distinguished Chairman of Inec. My name is Professor Kayode Adebowale, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Ibadan, and I'm the State Coalition Officer for the presidential election scope of the 25th of February, 2023 in Ogun State. The result for the presidential election held on the 25th of February, 2023 in Ogun State are as follows. Total number of registered voters. Total number of registered voters. 2,688,305. 2,688,305. Total number of accredited voters. 612,341. 612,341. The total number of votes received by the presidential candidates of each of the political parties are as follows. Party A. Party A, 1153. AA, 331. 331. AAC. AA. One zero 529. 105. APC 1 3 934. Zero. Three. BP.
Nałożcie upustili liście tły.
À m'impatienter.
Et c'est en ce point essentiel que la continuité en Égypte s'affirme à nouveau, à travers le langage. Champollion ne s'y est pas trompé. En apprenant le copte, il était sûr de trouver la clé pour décrypter les signes pharaoniques. Après s'être épanouie durant plusieurs siècles, la communauté copte subit les conséquences de l'effondrement de l'Empire byzantin. Devenue minoritaire, elle réussit cependant à se maintenir au fil des siècles.
PRP 356. 356. SDP. SDP.
Did you see all these people? God.
738. YPP.
In cucina, crea tu.
366. 366. ZLP. ZLP. 239
Network problem.
Four, 8. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Prof. and Scope for Ogun State. Were there places where election was not held or the outcome of the election cancelled?
There are places where we have cancellation. They have been compiled. The respective forms, which is EC 40G, was filled during the state coalition exercise yesterday. They were all displayed. And the reasons for the cancellation ranges from overvoting. There are some that voters refuse to use the BVAS. And also there are some that was disruption, which probably some thugs came, but they did not cut away with any election material in any of our police stations throughout Ogun State.
Okay, thank you very much. Party agents, any comments or observations to the scope? Okay, please submit your result.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Scope. And the original handwritten completed from ECFD has been duly countersigned by agents of political parties present during state coalition in Abeokuta. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, Coalition Secretariat, what state is next? Oyo, Wise Ramon Taylor, the resident electoral commissioner. Oyo? Okay, Oyo is there, and there is another state also in the holding area. So, are you ready, Oyo? Okay, please come forward along with the state collection officer. Sarah, please introduce yourself, and the scope should introduce himself and present the results for Oyo State.
My name is Dr. Tela Adeniran Abdurrahman, Assistant Electoral Commissioner of your state.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I am Professor Olushola Babatunde Kehinde, the Vice Chancellor, Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, and the State Collation Officer for the presidential election in Oyo State. Thank you, sir. For the presidential election that held on the 25th of February 2023, we have the following as the results of the election. 1. The total number of registered voters in Oyo State. Total number of registered voters. 3,2. Party AAC 1153 1153. ADC 608. Party AA 1124 1124. Party AAC 1153 1153. ADC 6080. ADC 6080. ADP 2298. 2298. APC 449884. 449884. APGA 1368. 1368. APM 462. 462. APP 1985. 1985. BP 363. LP 99110. 99110. NNPP 4095. 4095. NRM 65.
wait. They come. Naija with network. Their network no good. Mm.
2891. 2891. Total valid votes 809485. 809485. Rejected votes 42471. 42471. Total votes cast. Total votes cast 851956. 851956. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, Scope. Were there places why elections did not hold or cancelled?
Yes, sir. Elections were cancelled in 17 polling units in 14 registration areas.
Reason?
Overvoting, sir. And the total number of cancelled votes were 7363. 7363.
Okay, thank you very much. Any comments, observations, suggestions? Okay, thank you very much. Please step forward to present your results.
Mm. Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, we move to Yobe State. Is the REC and the State Collection Officer around? Is the REC as well as the scope? Okay.
My name is Ibrahim Abdullahi, the resident electoral commissioner, Yobe State.
My name is Professor Umaru A. Pajas, Chancellor of the Federal University Kashere in Gombe State. I am the State Collection Officer for the presidential election of 25 February 2023 in Yobe State. With me is Ibrahim Abdullahi, the resident electoral commissioner for Yobe State. The Result for the presidential election held on 25th February 2023 in Yobe State are as follows. Total number of registered voters, 148,146. Total number of registered voters, 1 1, 2. A party 3, 1, 2. AA 9, 1, 5. AA 9, 1, 5. AAC 2, 2. AA 8270. NRM 672. NRM 672. PDP 19. 40 BVL, they couldn't vote.
Make una shut up, stupid people, old fools.
With LG port 04.
Very annoying people.
One polling unit also affected with about 1073 voters. There was destruction of polling materials, and because of that, it was cancelled. The reports are attached to the submission here, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you very much. Any comments, any observation? Okay, please step forward to submit your result. I understand that Enugu State will be ready in the next 10 minutes. So wait for the next 10 minutes to take Enugu. I also understand that Lagos and Gombe are approaching the building. Thank you. So 10 minutes, we'll take Enugu State.
So we've got 10 minutes break after which they'll return, and I think they said Mr. Uzi, what's your impression of what's played out so far?
Well, there's a debate as to whether what is going on now is in accordance with the Electoral Act and whether it's in accordance with the Inec regulations and guidelines. My only challenge about the position of the political parties is that they have not come to say that the results being announced are not in conformity with the scores or the total number of accredited voters as they observed in the lower levels of collation. They are not challenging the scores, they are challenging the process and the procedure. They are challenging the fact that INEC guidance provides for a comparison being made with the results as exhibited, as displayed in the IRF portal. And it's a choice between let us follow the process as outlined, the architecture as outlined in the Electoral Act and in the INEC guidelines, or let us ensure that we speedily dispose of this result collation process. So it will appear to me the INEC has chosen the latter. We would rather than wait for the IRF portal to be up and running and display all the results. And nobody knows how long that will take. The statement yesterday said in this process of resolving all the issues. I think there's still one or two challenges. So it depends on which you think should follow. Are you a process person, technical process person, or Nigerians are interested in timelessly getting to hear who the next president, what are the scores.
So just to put it out there,
Okay.
those are PDP, LP, APP, SDP, and ADC.
Worked out.
The parties we worked
Yeah.
out.
So, but is that not opening up INEC to litigation? I mean, the fact that there's a law that provides procedural guidelines, and you even had a guideline that sort of enhances the act. Is that not opening yourself up to litigation, seeing that you're going contrary to what you put out as a procedure?
Either course of action will open Inec to litigation, and especially in electoral matters, we are a litigious community. Don't forget that there are over 700 cases dealing with party primaries, intra-party affairs.
As well.
Inec is joined as a necessary defendant, but it's not primary elections conducted by Inec, even conducted by the political parties themselves. That's the level of disputation that we have within the parties. So yes, definitely, I think your question was more the likelihood of success of those challenges.
For example, we need to just bring you the walkout, and then after they walked out, they spoke to the press behind the collation center. So we caught up with some of them after they made their points on publicity.
We have established calm. We can calmly proceed in the process and conclude in the.
We party agents haven't observed that the national chairman of INEC is determined to rig the election by making sure that results are not uploaded, by vehemently making a presentation that makes it look as if we are all here to rubber stamp the fraud that has been cooked between INEC and APC. We are saying that we are not here to rubber stamp the electoral fraud that have been prepared by INEC and APC. We are Nigerians and we all know that there is nowhere on the server that results have been uploaded. It's now saying we should wait for the process to be completed. All the political parties here have said they work out to express the unfortunate politicization and commercialization of our electoral process.
How many of the parties have taken a walkout?
We are about 9-10 of us here. Understand? And we are saying that INEC is compromised, APC have influenced INEC, and we can see results have been changed. We have records of where elections did not take place and results have been prepared. We have records of where the beavers were not used and results have been pronounced. What is difficult in the INEC chairman showing the uploaded results so that we can compare and interrogate that with the presentation that is made by the state returning officers. But they cannot upload results. They cannot show us uploaded results because they know that what they are going to upload.
Because they are thieves. Thieves. Corrupt thieves.
So the electoral process has been rigged. INEC has rigged the 2023 elections, and we are completely dissociating ourselves from it, and we know what to do next.
How many parties staged the walkout this afternoon? So are you saying that you will no longer, your party, the Labour Party, will no longer participate in this election?
We have only participated in the election.
Or in the collection process?
The only two we are challenging the process in which they are declaring the results. Understand? They have promised us that they are going to use vivas. Vivas are used.
Network, you people don't have nothing. Good Wi-Fi, you people don't have.
Everybody has seen it. We have seen where our infractions have been happening.
Corrupt country.
Submitted. Our agent have reported to us. This is what you are not doing. That's what they are telling us here. So, and we want to just rubber stamp what they are telling us. And then as APC have
suggest that we should make involved, and that's what it's for.
So what next? So what next for your party? What next?
The next thing is we have done what we are doing now, and then we're going to check the instructions from our masters.
All right, so some of the political party agents have staged a walkout at that National Coalition Center. They take it now, but what's going through your mind?
So I mean, the first thing I did is I went to the IREF portal and I'm just looking at, obviously how far do we have to go, and it shows that 62,736 results have now been uploaded, but as you know, there are 176 and about 606 polling units, and so technically we're still around 40%, right? So I think there are two things here. The political parties that walked out were very clear about what they would prefer, and what they're saying is adjourn this process, okay? Now, I think that it's important to highlight that the cost of that to Nigerians is that they need to wait, right? But we started this conversation by saying, wow, it's been 48 hours. And we just don't know. We're not in position to say how long it would take for Inec to upload those results such that when the scope comes and is announcing, they can display it for us. So it's a valid ask, definitely, and I think in line with the Electoral Act that, the part of the Electoral Act and the guidelines that have already been stated, it is a valid ask. However, I think it's important to understand what is at stake. If we were to go in that direction.
Prof, we'll come back to you in a minute, but just quickly go to this APC's press release. The Tinubu to Lagosians, he did ask that they become and maintain peace. So he did say, all Progressives Congress, the presidential candidate, Bola Tinubu, appeal to Lagos State, people in Lagos State to become and eschew any acts that can lead to breakdown of law and order. He said the outcome of the election in Lagos, where Labour Party won the presidential election, should not be a source of provocation, saying that the beauty of democracy is that people have a right to vote for the candidate of their choice. Okay, so can go ahead and listen to some of them.
We have credible information from my colleagues at the bar. They are consultants of my colleagues at the Inec senior associates like me, who they have told to shop to go and prepare court papers and proceed. I want to appeal to the judiciary to remember the famous or the infamous Justice Bennett of June 12th. We should not have a complaint of the situation of Justice Bennett. What happened to her and what happened to her thereafter. That is my appeal to the judiciary, which is still my primary constituency. Please, please, and please, they should not scuttle democracy. If they think that Inec has forgotten provisions of the law in releasing the results, we will meet them anywhere in court, because we said that there is no such provision legally binding on Inec, and that overrides provision of both the Constitution and the Electoral Act that says that results must be uploaded before they are declared. What the law still recognizes is the manual step-by-step collation until the announcement of the results at the National Collation Center as provided for by law. There is nothing, and let me tell you this. I want you to simply ask the PDP. It's not what I mean for the LP, they are account for the cancellation of the results. Fair, well and good. We'll meet them anyway. But for the PDP, I want you to ask a critical question to all these drama kings you are seeing up and down, making noise without substance. Have you picked up a particular result for a particular state and compared it with the most of agents submitted? And tell the world which units have been altered, which one has been altered,
This
which
one.
results have, tell the world.
All right, so there you go. The All Progressives Congress also giving their press conference concerning what they've seen going on, reactions to the PDP, Labour Party, SDP, APP, the agents and their parties who staged a walkout and calling for cancellation, or they're not believing in the entire process. Well, Prof, you've heard what's going on now. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I think it's patently very risky for INEC to put on hold the process of announcement of the results. It immediately that INEC has admitted that it's lost in crisis. And I think that's what should not be done.
Okay. By the way, Labour Party also had their briefing just ended moments ago, as a matter of fact. So they're all having these briefings going all over the place, and pressmen will have to make sure we catch snippets, if not the entire thing. So that also went on, and I think subsequently we will. Okay, here it is, by the way. Okay, so that is Labour Party's Akin Oshuntogu. Okay, so he's clearly stating their party's position, but previously I think they had also spoken about how they do not believe in the process previously before today. So this is an addition to what they said previously. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that the position of the chairman of INEC is reasonable, but that means the case has not been closed. And because, as he himself admitted, once the announcement process is concluded, then the possibility of review can then be activated. Now, but what the political parties are saying is very important for us to note. The first is that they have discovered some discrepancies between what has been announced at the local government level as the result of the state and what they have from their party agents. That's the first point. Then secondly, they said by not announcing by not uploading the results for access, the argument or their fear is that INEC is not confident that what is going to be uploaded corresponds to what actually happened at the polling unit. They may be wrong, they may also be right. But the important point is really this, that when you look at the local government figures, you can't compare those figures with the polling unit figures that the political parties are talking about. That's why that IREV portal is so important for the purpose of transparency.
Okay, Prof, just for clarity, now those images you see, this press conference by Labour are the initial images that we do have, but we will bring you what they actually said in the press conference. So just stay with us, we'll bring you that one.
So, which makes it very difficult to argue that the parties do not have any ground for the complaint that they are making. I think what they are trying to do is to establish an environment where it will be clearly established that they have protested the results. Because they are now going to go a step further to put all the documents that they have together and begin to get ready for that review. And if that doesn't happen, of course, to get ready for litigation.
So let me ask this question. I've also maybe coming here. Why go down a wrong, well, not a wrong road, a tedious road? Why go down the tedious road when you can stop and make amends? I mean, going by the guidelines that INEC, and I asked this question earlier, Mr. Ozzy also attempted to answer that question. You have the law, you put out a guideline for yourself and for every other person. And in the course of executing your assignment, you are reminded, this is what you said. Can you stop, correct yourself, and then we continue? And that becomes too difficult.
So I think you're looking at it, as an isolated case. Everything that you have said is correct. However, given what is currently happening, the stakes are too high for the INEC chairman to pause this process. It's going to feel like 72 hours, the next 10 hours or 12 hours before they resume at 11 a.m. again tomorrow. It's going to feel like 24 hours. So the INEC chairman, as the returning officer for the presidential election, has made a call, right? Whether this is the best call at this time, I mean, we can argue about that. Okay. I would say it is. Given what is at stake. Because ultimately, I think in the midst of all of this, the most important people are those people who went out to vote.
Yeah, Mr. Ozzy, I'm wondering. Okay, sorry, you want to
say it's very tempting to say, put it on hold. I mean, if you just create an image of June 12th, that the elections were going on, at the point of announcement of result, you suspend the process.
Okay, a couple of things from that.
Yeah.
Now, Ms. Josie, did INEC play into their hands on the one hand? And secondly, I'm also wondering, having been experienced, not the first election for the chairman, perhaps could he have, with the benefit of hindsight, just say, well, I think I might have an idea where this is headed. If they were asking, Mr. Chairman, you have the powers, could you let the returning officers just corroborate and say what we are announcing is in line with what is on the portal or what has been uploaded, and tell us whether it's been uploaded or not? So should he have made a call at that point?
First of all, whether Inec split into their hands, I think we should fall back to the Inec statement of yesterday, that they intended to comply with this, they intended to go ahead as required in the regulations, but for certain reasons, these things have not come online, they did not come up on the portal. So I don't think from the explanation, I don't think they had a choice. But now is the call he has made. Do you proceed to start coalition even without rectifying whatever challenges or issues you have with the portal, or you do what you're doing now? Each individual can make up their minds about that.
Okay.
I wanted to quickly take you up on section 65, which is something that has been quoted quite copiously by some of the agents, and they kept on talking about it. They talk about, and section 65 talks about the decision of returning officer on ballot paper. I think that's the header you have there. It talks about the decision of the returning officer shall be final on any question arising from or relating to A, an unmarked ballot paper, B, rejected ballot paper, and C, declaration of scores of candidates and return of a candidate. That is what section 65 says. And then it also says, provided that the commission shall have the power within 7 days to review the declaration and return where the commission determines that the said declaration and return was not made voluntarily or was made contrary to the provisions of the law, regulations, and guidelines and manual for the election. That is, it looks like it's referring largely to the presiding officer at the polling unit because it's talking about ballot paper. But right now, we all know that the INEC chairman is a returning officer for the presidential elections. So precisely what are they asking him to do, referring to section 65 of this electoral act?
I really don't know. I'm not too sure whether the reference to section 65 is opposite. I'm not sure. But when you say it's talking about presiding officers, yes and no. Don't forget that the unit results are the building blocks of everything else. We're here because of the unit results.
Yeah.
So whatever challenges like marking about where the unit result is transferred to the next level of question to what level. Unfortunately, we're not privy to what happened at the what level, whether objection or nothing. And they're not referencing that. And also to the local government coalition level and the state coalition level.
Okay, Mr. Ozzy, sorry, if I may come in here.
Yes.
Let's, again, go back a bit. Section 64.
Yes.
Says, the presiding officer, section 64(1), shall endorse the word rejected on the ballot paper, rejected. Okay, let's go down to, if an objection of a decision of a presiding officer to reject the ballot is raised by a candidate or a polling agent, let's go to 4. A coalition officer or returning officer at an election shall collate and announce the result of an election subject to his or her verification and confirmation that the number of accredited voters stated on the collated results are correct and consistent with the number of accredited voters recorded and transmitted directly from the polling units under section 472 of this act. B, the votes stated on the collated results are correct and consistent with the votes or results recorded and transmitted directly. 5, subject to subsection 1, a coalition of returning officers shall use the number of accredited voters recorded and transmitted directly from the polling unit under section 472 of this act, and the votes recorded and transmitted directly from polling units under section 64 of this act to collate and announce the result. Please, can you read from your guide there what the transmission there by Inec's guidelines, what the transmission means?
It's paragraph 38 of the Inec guidelines. I don't know if camera can catch this. Inec And it says there that on completion.
Mazuzi,
yes.
Apologies. ICC, I think as you can see a picture in the box, they've come back and we'll have to go back there. Apologies. But let's get back to the ICC.
My name is Dr. Chukwemeka Joseph Chukwu, Honorable Executive Electoral Commissioner, Inec, Enugu State. Beside me is the
Professor Madu ABBC of Foiwe, Vice Chancellor Michael Abba University of Agojumudike, Coalition Officer for the Presidential Election in Enugu State. Please go ahead. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. These are the results of the coalition we did in Enugu State. The number of registered voters, 2 million. Voters 482,990. 482,990. Votes received by political parties. A 165. 165. AA 77.
Even better network, una no get better network, una no get anything. Corrupt country, una no get anything. Come on, life, una no fit do. Life no, una live stream in network no good. Rubbish. Failed country.
4772. 4772. APGA 1548. 1548. APM 103. Votes. 456 424. 456 424. Rejected votes. 12467. 12467. Total votes cast. 468 891. 468 891. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Any places where elections did not hold or cancellations?
Yes, Chairman, we had overvoting and disruption in Aninri, Uduma 2, and Ezago. We also had disruption in Imo in Ogu. Those are the three areas that were affected.
Okay, total number of registered voters and PVCs collected. Are they all in the 40G?
Yes, they are. You have compiled them.
Okay, any comments, any observation on the earlier result? Sorry, Enugu result. Okay, thank you very much. Please step forward to present the result.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, I understand that Lagos is around. So let's give Lagos a few minutes to cross-check with the coalition secretariat before presenting the result. So we give Lagos a few minutes.
announcements from the National Collation Center, wherein the results were just called out from the figures there. I must say, what do you think?
So I mean, democracy is, supposed to be government for the people, by the people.
Exactly.
Right?
For the people. But no, don't change that to be another thing.
But as far as I'm concerned, these positions are no one's inheritance, right? And it is only, one thing that must be clear is that election is a pathway to good governance, right? And so this is an opportunity. If you have been voted out and somebody new has been voted in, this is an opportunity to give governance to the people. It's about the people. And I know that we're currently going through a process that is painful, that people have different opinions about, but I think that the Nigerian people should see it as a win through and through. And that's why I said, whatever it is that we're looking at, even in the process, we must prioritize the Nigerian people. And so the surprises are pleasant. It's a pleasant surprise, it's a breath of fresh air. And I think it's important for people to know that public office, elective or appointed, is about giving the people good governance. And I think we're seeing it unfold.
Well, we're taking a break right now. I think Lagos is about to do its own announcement of the results, which we also heard from the local, that's the State Collation Center earlier. But perhaps in line with what some of the agents have been raising, the national chairman has asked the resident electoral commissioner to make sure they cross-check their figures, and that's why we have this lull right now. I don't know whether what exactly would they be cross-checking, Mr. Ozi? Can you let us know?
They might check whether the figures will add up, whether it's overvoting in any particular local government, whether there's overvoting in the whole state constituency, the total number of accredited voters according to the beavers, from beavers, is equal or less than the total number of valid and invalid votes. The beavers reports all the cards of the people who have come to vote and computes it, adds it up. Whereas if you have compare that with the figure endorsed in the result sheet, ECHC, and also add the total number of valid votes of all the parties and invalid votes and see to whether there's a discrepancy. But I think there's also this issue of the polling unit result transmitted from London to the server. And the issue is that, to be fair, the chairman at this stage cannot be comparing 178,000 polling unit results. So it is deemed that they should have done so probably at the lowest level, which is the RA collation.
Who should have done so?
The first collation officer. And I think what we want is the assurance that that had been done. If the chairman is satisfied that that was done, which in this case hasn't been done because there are very few 40% you computed earlier on. As of today, that is about 40% have been as of an hour ago. So these are the kind of things that we.
Okay, so it's too late for the chairman to do that comparison.
Is that what you're saying?
No, that's what he's saying. I mean, Mr. Ozzy, I get you right. You're saying it's probably too late for the chairman to be comparing notes with what's happening at the polling unit. Is that what you mean? At this point in time?
Basically, if you take this literally, he's supposed to do that. But you don't expect the chairman to go every collation officer, because it doesn't discriminate. The section you read, section 64. Yeah. 64.4 does not. Let's just go back to 64.4. Does what? A collation officer at an election shall collate and announce the results of an election subject to the following. He's a returning officer. He's going to collate the president and return. But and don't forget there are 178,606 polling units. I don't think the law, if you separate that way, it will lead to an absurdity.
So, is there any implication of that walkout?
No. You cannot compel an agent to be represented at the collation center. If the walkout, the process can continue. It doesn't invalidate whatever is being done there.
So, on the integrity of the process,
it calls the question. There are two different things: the legality of that, and then the perception. So yes, it could affect the perception. I'm sure there are quite possibly a lot of their supporters. Some will disagree that you shouldn't have walked that stay, and some will say, it has diminished. It has diminished the integrity of the process. So many parties, 9, 10, rejected the process, and by implication, having checked the result, you reject the process, I doubt if they will accept the outcome of that process. So everything that happens diminishes the process. All that we're saying in social media also diminishes the process. Whether it's good, whether it's justified or not, it's a totally different thing.
Prof, what will your assessment be?
Well, I think that there's a serious issue here because if the political parties in their numbers work out, it's a very symbolic behavior which detracts from the legitimacy of the entire process. I'm very sure that Inec chairman is not taking it lightly. And that's why he's particularly concerned about having any kind of repeat of discrepancy from now on. But more importantly, remember the reason why he's proceeding with the announcement of the results is simply that he says he's satisfied that the required processes have been observed at the lower levels. Because he's going to do the collation of these returns that are coming from the state and add them up for the final result. But those who were at the decentralized level are those who are expected to have exercised due diligence. In fact, even the uploading of the results at the polling unit level is also supposed to have been done by the presiding officer at that particular polling unit. So all of these have not clearly, because the uploading is taking so much time, and we still have less than 40% of the results uploaded. It's questionable whether due diligence has been done by those officers.
Also, if I could ask you, I mean, when Marco did say, the chairman was saying that Lagos should take a moment and cross-check and make sure certain things are done, as a communication person, in context of what had transpired previously, how does that come across? Because, people internalize these things differently.
Yes.
Wouldn't some say, oh, well, so the chairman is not trying to do the right thing we should have done before, or what?
A really good question. And I think that it's important for us to let Nigerians know what is at stake, right? And I know that as we speak here, there's so many conversations happening, but let's break it down. If it is taking 2 days, 48 hours, to upload 66,000 results for the polling units, we can assume, based on that baseline, so a baseline has already been established, right, that it would take another 3 days, 72 hours, to upload 176,000 polling units. So, Chairman, ask me, if the chairman says now, let's take a break for 3 days, you tell me what's going to happen. And it's important for us to have this conversation so that people know what's at stake, right? So I hear that we want to have this argument about right and wrong, but I think the chairman, as the returning officer, based on what we have read, has made a call, having considered everything. And these are the scenarios that we're saying. We thought the IREB was going to work, didn't we? Nobody could have predicted.
The eyes have it.
Nobody could have predicted that we'd find ourselves here. And I think that that's what it is. So, and that's why people run organizations. People